Hello, my beautiful friends. I want you to know that I'm so grateful you're here with me today. I can feel your presence, and I want you to know that wherever you are right now, whatever brought you to this moment, you are exactly where you need to be. There's something stirring within you, isn't there? A longing for something more, something deeper, something that feels more aligned with who you truly are. Maybe you've been feeling stuck lately, like no matter what you do, the same patterns keep showing up in your life. Perhaps you've been wondering why some people seem to have everything flow so easily while you feel like you're pushing against a wall. Or maybe you've heard about the power of positive thinking, but you've tried it and felt like nothing really changed. If any of this sounds familiar, I want you to take a deep breath and know that you're not alone, and you haven't been doing anything wrong. What I'm going to share with you today has the potential to transform every area of your life, but I want to be honest with you from the very beginning. This isn't about quick fixes or magical thinking. This is about understanding a profound truth that most of us were never taught. The words we speak, both out loud and in the quiet chambers of our minds, are literally creating our reality moment by moment, day by day, year by year. You see, we live in a universe that responds to our vibration, and words carry vibration. Every single word you speak is either moving you toward what you want or moving you away from it. The most beautiful part is that once you understand this, once you really get it in your bones, you have the power to consciously create the life you've been dreaming of. Not someday, not when everything is perfect, but right now, starting with the very next words that come out of your mouth. I've spent decades working with people from all walks of life, and what I've discovered again and again is this. The people who transform their lives aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented or the most privileged. They're simply the ones who learn to speak differently to themselves and about their lives. They discovered the secret of conscious language, and once they did, everything began to shift. Today, we're going to explore this together. We're going to look at why the words you've been using might be keeping you stuck, and more importantly, we're going to learn the exact words that can set you free. This isn't about pretending everything is wonderful when it's not. This is about understanding how to use your voice as a tool for healing, for growth, and for creating the life your heart knows is possible. I want you to feel safe here with me. There's no judgment, no criticism, only love and understanding. We're going to take this journey together, one step at a time, and by the time we're finished, you're going to have tools that will serve you for the rest of your life. So settle in, open your heart, and let's begin to discover the incredible power that lives within your words. From the moment we take our first breath, we begin absorbing messages about who we are and what's possible for us. These messages come from well-meaning parents, teachers, siblings, and society at large. Most of the people who shaped our early understanding of ourselves were doing the best they could with what they knew, but unfortunately, many of the messages we received were not messages of empowerment and possibility. Think about the phrases that played like background music throughout your childhood. Perhaps you heard things like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "Life is hard," or "You can't have everything you want." Maybe you were told, "Don't get your hopes up," or "Good things don't last," or "You're too sensitive." These weren't necessarily said with malice, but they became the building blocks of your internal dialogue, the voice that narrates your daily experience. What happens is that these childhood messages become so familiar, so automatic, that we don't even notice them anymore. They run like software in the background of our minds, influencing every decision we make, every opportunity we see or don't see, every relationship we enter, and every dream we dare to pursue or abandon. This internal voice becomes our constant companion, and for many of us, it's not a very encouraging one. The fascinating thing about this internal dialogue is that it's not actually your voice. It's a collection of voices from your past, mixed together and internalized until it feels like your own thoughts. But here's what I want you to understand. Just because these thoughts feel familiar doesn't mean they're true. And just because they've been with you for a long time doesn't mean they have to stay. Every day, from morning until night, we have thousands of thoughts, and most of them are repeats from yesterday and the day before and the day before that. We think the same thoughts, which create the same feelings, which drive the same actions, which create the same results. Then we wonder why our lives feel stuck or why we keep attracting the same types of experiences over and over again. But what if I told you that you have the power to change this pattern? What if you could learn to become aware of this internal dialogue and begin to consciously choose thoughts and words that serve your highest good? This is where the real magic begins. When you start paying attention to the conversation happening in your head, you can begin to redirect it. The mind-body connection is real and powerful. Every thought you think creates a chemical reaction in your body. When you think worried thoughts, your body produces stress hormones. When you think grateful thoughts, your body produces feel-good chemicals. Your cells are literally listening to your internal dialogue and responding accordingly. This means that the words you speak to yourself aren't just affecting your mood, they're affecting your health, your energy levels, your immune system, and your overall vitality. The beautiful truth is that you have the ability to become the conscious director of your internal dialogue. Instead of being at the mercy of old programming, you can learn to speak to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would offer a beloved friend. You can learn to catch those old limiting thoughts and gently redirect them toward thoughts that support your growth and happiness. This isn't about positive thinking in the superficial sense. This is about understanding that your words have creative power. And when you align your internal dialogue with what you want to create in your life, you become a conscious participant in your own transformation. The voice in your head can become your greatest ally instead of your harshest critic. There's something magical that happens when we begin to understand that our words are not just random sounds or casual expressions. They are vibrations that ripple out into the universe and come back to us in the form of our experiences. Every religion, every spiritual tradition, every ancient wisdom teaching has pointed to this same truth. Words have creative power. When you speak, you're not just communicating with others, you're communicating with the universe itself. You're sending out a vibration that attracts matching experiences. The universe doesn't judge your words as good or bad, it simply responds to the energy behind them. When you consistently speak words of lack, struggle, and limitation, the universe lovingly brings you more experiences that match that vibration. When you speak words of abundance, gratitude, and possibility, the universe responds by opening doors and creating opportunities that align with that energy. This isn't mystical thinking. It's actually quite practical. Scientists have discovered that our thoughts and words create measurable changes in our brain structure. They've found that positive, empowering thoughts actually strengthen neural pathways associated with happiness, creativity, and problem solving. Negative, limiting thoughts strengthen pathways associated with stress, fear, and depression. Your brain is literally reshaping itself based on your habitual thought patterns and the words you speak most often. What makes certain words more powerful than others is the emotion and intention behind them. When you speak words of love, gratitude, and appreciation from a genuine place in your heart, those words carry a high vibration that can heal relationships, open opportunities, and create beautiful synchronicities in your life. When you speak words of fear, resentment, or criticism, even if they seem justified, those words carry a lower vibration that tends to create more of what you don't want. The key is understanding that you have a choice in every moment. You can speak words that uplift and inspire, or you can speak words that diminish and discourage. You can choose words that open possibilities, or words that close them down. You can speak from love, or you can speak from fear. The universe is always listening, always responding, always bringing you experiences that match the vibration of your most consistent thoughts and words. This is why affirmations and conscious language are so powerful. When you deliberately choose words that align with what you want to create, you're literally programming your subconscious mind and sending a clear message to the universe about what you're ready to receive. It's not about trying to convince yourself that something false is true. It's about speaking the truth of what's possible for you and allowing that truth to take root in your consciousness. What I've discovered through years of working with people is that those who transform their lives most dramatically are those who become very conscious of their language. They stop speaking casually about their limitations and start speaking intentionally about their possibilities. They stop complaining about what's wrong and start acknowledging what's working. They stop describing themselves in ways that diminish their power and start using words that affirm their worth and potential. This shift in language creates a shift in perception, which creates a shift in experience. When you change your words, you change your world. It's that simple and that profound. The words you speak today are creating tomorrow's experiences, so why not make them words that create the tomorrow you truly desire? The beauty of this understanding is that it puts you back in the driver's seat of your life. For so long, you may have felt like things just happen to you, like you're at the mercy of circumstances or other people's decisions. But when you truly grasp that your words are creating your reality, you realize that you have been the author of your story all along. You just weren't conscious of the pen in your hand. Many people ask me how long it takes for words to manifest into reality, and the answer is that it depends on several factors. The more aligned your words are with your true feelings, the faster they manifest. The more consistently you speak empowering words, the more quickly you'll see changes. And the more you release resistance to receiving good things, the more easily positive experiences can flow into your life. Sometimes the manifestation is immediate. Someone speaks words of love and forgiveness and instantly feels a weight lifted from their shoulders. Other times, the process unfolds more gradually. Someone begins speaking words of abundance and prosperity, and over time, opportunities begin appearing, ideas start flowing, and financial improvements start manifesting. The universe has perfect timing, and your job is simply to stay consistent with your conscious language and trust the process. What I've learned is that the universe always says yes. It says yes to whatever you're consistently focusing on and speaking about. If you're constantly talking about how broke you are, the universe says yes and brings you more experiences of being broke. If you're always complaining about your health problems, the universe says yes and maintains those health challenges. But if you start speaking words of gratitude for your body's ability to heal, if you start affirming your natural state of health and vitality, the universe says yes to that too. This is why it's so important to become aware of the casual, unconscious things we say throughout the day. Those little throwaway comments like, "I'm so stupid," or "I can't afford that," or "I never have any luck," might seem harmless, but they're actually instructions to the universe. They're telling your subconscious mind what to expect and what to create more of. The wonderful news is that as soon as you become aware of these patterns, you can begin to change them. You don't have to wait for permission or for circumstances to improve. You can start right now with the very next words that come out of your mouth. You can begin speaking as if the life you want is already on its way to you, because in the realm of energy and vibration, it already is. This is the foundation of all transformation, understanding that your words are not just describing your reality, they are creating it. Once you really get this, once it becomes more than just an interesting concept and becomes a lived truth, everything changes. You become more careful with your words, more intentional with your thoughts, and more conscious of the energy you're putting out into the world. The most beautiful part of this journey is that it gets easier and more natural over time. At first, catching negative thoughts and redirecting them might feel awkward or forced. But just like learning any new skill, the more you practice, the more automatic it becomes. Eventually, speaking words of love, abundance, and possibility becomes your natural way of being. Your default setting shifts from limitation to expansion, from fear to love, from scarcity to abundance. This is when life becomes truly magical, when your words align with your highest vision for yourself, when your thoughts support your dreams instead of sabotaging them. You become a magnet for miracles. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. The right people show up at the right time. Resources become available. Health improves. Relationships heal. Dreams that once seemed impossible start becoming reality. This isn't fantasy. This is the natural result of aligning your words with the truth of who you are and what you're capable of creating. You are far more powerful than you've been led to believe, and your words are one of the most potent tools you have for expressing that power. Are you ready to step into this power and begin speaking your dreams into existence? Now that you understand the creative power of your words, it's time to take an honest and loving look at the language patterns that have been running your life. This isn't about judging yourself or feeling bad about the words you've been using. This is about becoming aware with compassion so that you can make conscious choices moving forward. For the next few days, I want you to become a gentle observer of your own language. Notice what you say when you wake up in the morning. Do you groan and say, "I'm so tired," or "I don't want to get up"? Pay attention to how you respond when someone asks how you're doing. Do you automatically say, "Oh, same old," or "I'm hanging in there"? Or do you find something genuinely positive to share? Listen to yourself when you're talking about money. Do you catch yourself saying things like, "I can't afford that," or "money is so tight right now," or "rich people are greedy"? Notice what you say about your body. Do you criticize your appearance in the mirror? Do you complain about aches and pains? Do you speak about aging as if it's something terrible that's happening to you? Most of us have been unconsciously speaking limitation into our lives for so long that we don't even realize we're doing it. We say things like, "That's just my luck," when something goes wrong, or "I knew that wouldn't work out," when a plan falls through. We describe ourselves as not good with money, or not the creative type, or just not lucky in love. These casual statements might seem harmless, but they're actually powerful declarations that your subconscious mind takes as instructions. One of the most common patterns I see is the habit of speaking about problems as if they're permanent and personal. Someone might say, "I always mess things up," or "I never get what I want," or "people don't like me." When you speak this way, you're not just describing a temporary situation, you're creating an identity around limitation. You're telling the universe that this is who you are, and the universe lovingly responds by bringing you more experiences that confirm this identity. Another pattern to watch for is the way we speak about other people, especially when we're frustrated or angry. When you say things like, "They never listen to me," or "People are so selfish," or "You can't trust anyone these days," you're not just venting, you're programming your subconscious to expect more of these experiences. The universe doesn't distinguish between what you're saying about others and what you're creating for yourself. It simply responds to the vibration of your words. Pay special attention to the stories you tell about your past. Do you find yourself repeatedly telling the story of how you were hurt, betrayed, or disappointed? Do you describe your childhood as if it doomed you to a life of struggle? Do you talk about your failures as proof that you're not capable of success? These stories, while they may contain factual elements, become chains that bind you to the past when you repeat them over and over. There's also the subtle but powerful pattern of minimizing good things when they happen. When someone compliments you, do you deflect it or argue with it? When something wonderful occurs, do you say things like, "It won't last," or "I don't deserve this," or "Something bad always happens after something good"? This pattern of minimizing or pushing away positive experiences actually trains your subconscious to expect less and creates resistance to receiving more good in your life. The language of victimhood is another pattern worth examining. Phrases like, "Life is so unfair," or "Why does this always happen to me?" or "I have no choice," might feel justified in difficult moments, but they reinforce a sense of powerlessness that keeps you stuck in challenging circumstances. Even when external situations are genuinely difficult, the way you speak about them either empowers you to find solutions or reinforces your sense of helplessness. As you become aware of these patterns, please be gentle with yourself. You didn't create these habits on purpose, and you're not bad or wrong for having them. Most of us learn these ways of speaking from the people around us who were doing the best they could with what they knew. The beautiful thing is that now you're becoming conscious of these patterns, which means you have the power to change them. Start keeping a simple awareness journal. You don't need to write pages and pages, just jot down the phrases you notice yourself saying that don't serve your highest good. Notice the times when you automatically respond with limitation or negativity. Notice when you deflect compliments or speak harshly about yourself. This awareness practice is like turning on a light in a room that's been dark for a long time. Some people are surprised by how much negative language they discover in their daily conversations. Don't let this discourage you. Every moment of awareness is a moment of empowerment. Every time you catch yourself speaking from old patterns, you're one step closer to freedom. This is the beginning of conscious creation through language. The goal isn't to eliminate all negative words from your vocabulary or to pretend that challenges don't exist. The goal is to become conscious of your language choices so that you can speak in ways that empower you rather than diminish you. You can acknowledge difficulties without declaring them permanent. You can express feelings without creating limiting identities. You can tell your story without making yourself the victim of it. Remember, this awareness practice is an act of self-love. You're paying attention to your language because you care about yourself and your life experience. You're choosing to become conscious because you know you deserve better than unconscious limitation. This is how transformation begins, with awareness, compassion, and the decision to choose differently. Once you've begun to identify the language patterns that have been limiting you, the next step is learning to speak consciously, intentionally, and with awareness of the creative power your words carry. This is an art form that becomes more beautiful and natural with practice. You're learning to become the conscious director of your thoughts and words rather than an unconscious victim of old programming. The foundation of conscious speaking is understanding the difference between victim language and creator language. Victim language focuses on what's being done to you, what you can't control, and why things won't work out. Creator language focuses on what you can influence, what's possible, and how you can respond to create the outcomes you desire. This shift in language literally shifts you from a state of powerlessness to a state of empowerment. Instead of saying, "I have to go to work," you might say, I choose to go to work, or I'm grateful for the opportunity to contribute and earn money. Instead of, I can't afford that, you could say, I'm choosing to spend my money differently right now, or I'm focusing my resources on other priorities. Notice how these shifts maintain honesty while also maintaining your sense of personal power and choice. When you speak about challenges or difficulties, you can acknowledge them without surrendering your power to them. Instead of saying, this always happens to me, you might say, this is happening right now, and I'm learning how to handle it differently. Instead of, I'm terrible at this, you could say, I'm learning and improving at this. The situation might be the same, but your relationship to it becomes completely different when you speak about it consciously. One of the most powerful aspects of conscious speaking is learning to speak from possibility rather than from current circumstances. This doesn't mean denying reality or lying to yourself. It means speaking from the truth of what's possible rather than being limited by what currently appears to be true. You can say, I'm in the process of improving my financial situation, even when money is tight. You can say, I'm discovering my perfect relationship, even when you're single. You're speaking from the place of where you're going rather than from where you've been. The language of gratitude is one of the most transformative forms of conscious speaking. When you consistently speak words of appreciation for what you have, for what you've learned, and for what's coming into your life, you create a vibration that attracts more good things to be grateful for. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on and speak about what's working, what's beautiful, and what's improving in your life. Conscious speaking also involves learning to speak about yourself with love and respect. This means catching those moments when you would normally criticize yourself and choosing different words. Instead of saying, I'm so stupid, you might say, I'm learning from this experience. Instead of, I look terrible today, you could say, I'm grateful for my body and all it does for me. This shift in self-talk creates profound changes in your self-esteem and confidence. When speaking about other people, conscious language means choosing words that reflect the highest truth about them rather than focusing on their limitations or mistakes. This doesn't mean being naive or ignoring red flags in relationships. It means speaking about others in ways that don't diminish your own energy or create negative vibrations in your life. When you speak positively about others, you create an environment of trust and goodwill that benefits everyone. The art of conscious speaking includes learning to reframe challenges as opportunities for growth. Instead of saying, this is a disaster, you might say, this is showing me something important. Instead of, I can't handle this, you could say, I'm discovering my strength through this experience. This type of reframing doesn't minimize real difficulties, but it empowers you to find meaning and growth even in challenging situations. Timing is also important in conscious speaking. Sometimes the most conscious thing you can do is remain silent until you can speak from a centered, loving place rather than from reactivity or emotion. There's wisdom in pausing before speaking, especially when you're upset or triggered. This pause allows you to choose words that serve your highest good rather than words that might create more problems or negative energy. Another aspect of conscious speaking is learning to speak your desires and dreams as if they're already on their way to you. Instead of saying, I hope someday I'll be able to travel, you might say, I'm so excited about the travel opportunities coming into my life. Instead of, I wish I could find someone who loves me, you could say, I'm grateful for the love that's flowing toward me. This way of speaking aligns your vibration with receiving rather than with wanting or lacking. The practice of conscious speaking becomes easier when you remember that you're not trying to convince anyone else or prove anything to the outside world. You're simply choosing to use your words in ways that support your highest good and create the internal environment for positive change. Your words are for you first. and as you align them with love, possibility, and truth, they naturally become a gift to everyone around you. This is a practice that unfolds over time. Be patient with yourself as you learn this new way of speaking. Some days you'll remember to speak consciously, and other days you'll fall back into old patterns. This is perfectly normal and part of the learning process. What matters is that you keep coming back to the practice, keep choosing love over fear, possibility over limitation, and empowerment over victimhood. Now we come to one of the most powerful tools for transformation that I've ever discovered: the practice of speaking sacred affirmations. These aren't just pretty words or wishful thinking. When spoken with sincerity and consistency, affirmations become bridges between where you are now and where you want to be. They're declarations of truth that help your consciousness catch up with your highest potential. Let me share with you some of the most powerful affirmations I've discovered over the years, and more importantly, how to speak them in ways that create real change in your life. The key to effective affirmations is understanding that you're not trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. You're declaring the truth of what's possible for you and allowing that truth to take root in your consciousness. For self-love and acceptance, one of the most fundamental affirmations is, I love and approve of myself exactly as I am right now. When you first speak this, you might feel resistance. Your old programming might say, but that's not true. I have so many flaws. This resistance is normal and actually shows you how much you need this practice. Speak the words anyway, gently and with compassion for yourself. You're planting seeds of self-acceptance that will grow stronger each time you water them with loving words. Another powerful affirmation for self-worth is, I am worthy of love, success, and happiness simply because I exist. You don't have to earn your worthiness through achievement or good behavior. Your worth is inherent, built into the very fabric of your being. When you speak these words regularly, you begin to live from this truth instead of from the old belief that you have to prove your value. For abundance and prosperity, try speaking, money flows to me easily and joyfully. I am open to receiving prosperity from expected and unexpected sources. This affirmation addresses both the practical aspect of money flowing into your life and the emotional aspect of being open to receive it. Many people block abundance because they feel guilty about having money or believe they don't deserve it. This affirmation helps you align with the natural flow of prosperity. Another beautiful affirmation for financial well-being is, I am grateful for the abundance that surrounds me, and I joyfully share my good fortune with others. This acknowledges that abundance isn't just about accumulating money for yourself. It's about participating in the flow of giving and receiving that creates prosperity for everyone. For health and vitality, speak these words with deep conviction. My body knows how to heal itself, and I support this natural process with loving thoughts and actions. Your body truly is designed to heal and regenerate itself. When you speak words that support this natural process rather than words that work against it, you create an internal environment that promotes healing and wellness. You might also say, I am grateful for my body's strength, wisdom, and ability to carry me through life. So often we focus on what's wrong with our bodies, rather than appreciating all the miraculous things they do for us every day. This affirmation helps you develop a loving relationship with your physical form. For relationships and love, one of my favorite affirmations is, I attract loving, supportive people into my life, and I am a loving, supportive presence for others. This works both ways. It helps you magnetize wonderful people while also helping you become the kind of person others want to be around. Another powerful relationship affirmation is, I forgive everyone in my past for the highest good of all concerned. I am free to love and be loved. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior. It means releasing the emotional charge that keeps you tied to negative experiences. When you free yourself from resentment and anger, you create space for love to enter your life. When working with affirmations for healing past wounds, you might say, I release all criticism of myself and others. I choose to see the innocence and beauty in every situation. This doesn't mean becoming naive or ignoring real problems. It means choosing to see through the eyes of love rather than through the lens of judgment and criticism. For personal growth and transformation, speak these words. I am constantly evolving into the highest version of myself. Every experience teaches me something valuable. This affirmation helps you see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as evidence that something is wrong with you or your life. The technique for speaking affirmations effectively is important. First, speak them out loud whenever possible. There's something powerful about hearing your own voice declare these truths. Second, speak them with feeling and conviction, even if you don't fully believe them yet. Your subconscious mind responds to the emotion behind the words as much as to the words themselves. Third, speak your affirmations in the present tense as if they're already true. Instead of saying, I will be healthy, say, I am healthy. Instead of, I hope to find love, say, I am loved. This present tense language helps your subconscious mind accept these new beliefs more readily. The best times to practice affirmations are in the morning when you first wake up and in the evening before you go to sleep. These are times when your subconscious mind is most receptive to new programming. You can also speak affirmations throughout the day whenever you notice negative thoughts arising. Some people like to write their affirmations down as well as speaking them. There's something powerful about seeing your own handwriting declare these positive truths about yourself and your life. You might write each affirmation 3 times, really feeling the words as you write them. Remember, consistency is more important than perfection. It's better to speak a few affirmations with genuine feeling every day than to try to speak hundreds of them without any emotional connection. Choose the affirmations that resonate most strongly with you right now and work with those until they feel natural and true. As you practice speaking these sacred words, you'll begin to notice shifts in how you feel about yourself and your life. You might find yourself standing a little taller, speaking up more confidently, or noticing opportunities that you would have missed before. These are signs that your new programming is taking root and beginning to create positive changes in your experience. The ultimate goal of affirmation practice is to help you remember and embody the truth of who you really are. A magnificent being with unlimited potential for love, joy, success, and contribution. Every time you speak words that align with this truth, you're coming home to yourself and opening the door for miracles to unfold in your life. One of the most transformative practices I've ever shared with people is something I call mirror work, and it involves one of the most important relationships you'll ever have, the relationship with yourself. This practice might feel uncomfortable at first, even silly, but I promise you that if you stick with it, it will change your life in ways you can't yet imagine. The practice is simple. You stand in front of a mirror, look directly into your own eyes, and speak words of love, encouragement, and truth to yourself. Most people have never done this, not really. We look in mirrors to check our appearance, to criticize what we see, or to fix something we think is wrong. But when was the last time you looked into your own eyes with love and spoke to yourself the way you would speak to someone you care about deeply? This resistance to mirror work tells us so much about how we feel about ourselves. If you find it difficult to look into your own eyes and say, I love you, this isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's simply showing you where the healing needs to happen. The mirror becomes a tool for discovering and dissolving the barriers to self-love that have been built up over years. When you first begin mirror work, you might notice all sorts of resistance. You might want to look away, or you might hear that critical voice in your head pointing out every flaw. You might feel emotional, or you might feel nothing at all. All of these responses are perfectly normal. The mirror is simply reflecting back to you your current relationship with yourself, and for most of us, that relationship needs some loving attention. Start gently with your mirror work. Begin by simply looking into your own eyes for a few moments each day, perhaps when you're brushing your teeth or washing your face. Don't try to say anything profound at first. Just practice making eye contact with yourself with kindness. Notice what comes up for you. Do you immediately want to look away? Do you start criticizing your appearance? Do you feel sad or angry? Just notice without judgment. As you become more comfortable with looking into your own eyes, you can begin speaking simple words of acknowledgement and appreciation. You might say, "Hello, beautiful," or "I see you," or "Thank you for being here." These simple phrases might feel awkward at first, but they're planting seeds of recognition and acceptance. You're learning to see yourself as someone worthy of kind words. The next step is beginning to speak affirmations to yourself in the mirror. This is where the real magic happens. When you look into your own eyes and say, "I love and accept you exactly as you are," something profound shifts in your cellular structure. You're not just thinking loving thoughts about yourself, you're speaking them directly to the part of you that most needs to hear them. Try saying, "You are doing the best you can, and that's enough," while looking into your own eyes. Notice what happens in your body. You might feel emotional, you might feel resistance, or you might feel a sense of relief. All of these responses are valuable information about your inner landscape and opportunities for healing. One of the most powerful mirror work affirmations is simply, "I forgive you." So many of us carry guilt and shame about past mistakes, missed opportunities, or ways we think we failed. When you look into your own eyes and offer yourself forgiveness, you're breaking chains that have kept you bound to the past. You're setting yourself free to move forward with love instead of self-condemnation. Another beautiful practice is expressing gratitude to yourself in the mirror. Say things like, "Thank you for taking care of me," or "Thank you for not giving up," or "Thank you for being willing to grow and change." We're so quick to criticize ourselves for our perceived shortcomings, but we rarely acknowledge ourselves for all the ways we show up, persevere, and keep trying. As you continue with mirror work, you can begin speaking your dreams and desires to yourself. Look into your own eyes and say, "You deserve love," or "You deserve success," or "You deserve happiness." These aren't just nice words. They're declarations that help your subconscious mind align with receiving good things in your life. The beautiful thing about mirror work is that it works on multiple levels simultaneously. On the surface level, you're practicing speaking kindly to yourself. On a deeper level, you're healing your relationship with your own reflection and your own self-image. On the deepest level, you're rewiring the neural pathways in your brain that determine how you feel about yourself and what you believe you deserve. Some people find it helpful to do mirror work first thing in the morning as a way of starting the day with self-love and positive intention. Others prefer to do it in the evening as a way of releasing any harsh self-judgment from the day and going to sleep with kind words echoing in their consciousness. Find the time that works best for you and commit to showing up for yourself consistently. Remember, the goal isn't to become narcissistic or self-obsessed. The goal is to develop a healthy, loving relationship with yourself so that you can move through the world from a place of inner strength and security rather than from a place of self-doubt and self-criticism. When you truly love and accept yourself, you become more loving and accepting of others. When you speak kindly to yourself, you naturally begin speaking more kindly to everyone around you. If this practice brings up difficult emotions or memories, be gentle with yourself. Sometimes mirror work can surface old wounds that need healing. This is part of the process, not a sign that you're doing something wrong. If you feel overwhelmed, take breaks as needed. Perhaps seek support from a counselor or trusted friend, and remember that healing happens at your own pace. The mirror doesn't lie, but it also doesn't judge. It simply reflects back to you whatever you're bringing to it. When you bring criticism and harsh judgment, that's what you'll see reflected. When you bring love and acceptance, that's what you'll experience. This practice teaches you that you have the power to change your experience simply by changing what you bring to each moment. Many of us carry wounds from our past that continue to influence our present-day experiences in ways we might not even realize. These wounds often stem from times when we felt unloved, unworthy, or unsafe, and they create patterns of thinking and speaking that keep us stuck in cycles of pain and limitation. The beautiful truth is that words have the power to heal these old wounds, to release us from the grip of the past, and to set us free to create new, more loving experiences. Healing past wounds with words begins with understanding that the stories we tell ourselves about what happened to us have as much power as the events themselves. Two people can go through similar experiences and have completely different outcomes based on the meaning they assign to those experiences and the words they use to describe them. This doesn't minimize the reality of pain or trauma, but it empowers you to change your relationship to your past through conscious language. One of the most powerful tools for healing is the practice of speaking forgiveness, not because anyone deserves it or because what happened was okay, but because forgiveness sets you free. When you hold on to resentment, anger, and blame, you're the one who suffers. You're the one carrying the heavy burden of those emotions day after day, year after year. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. You might begin by saying, "I am willing to forgive," even if you don't feel ready to fully forgive yet. Willingness is the first step, and it opens the door for healing to begin. You don't have to feel forgiving to speak words of willingness. You're simply declaring your intention to move toward freedom rather than staying bound to the past. As you become more comfortable with the idea of forgiveness, you can speak more specific words of release. You might say, "I forgive you for the hurt you caused me, and I release you from my heart with love." Notice that this doesn't mean you condone harmful behavior or that you have to have a relationship with people who hurt you. Forgiveness is about your inner freedom, not about anyone else's actions or worthiness. Sometimes the person we most need to forgive is ourselves. We carry guilt and shame about our own past actions, mistakes, and choices that we perceive as failures. Self-forgiveness is often the most difficult kind of forgiveness, but it's also the most liberating. You might say, "I forgive myself for not knowing better at the time. I forgive myself for the mistakes I made. I was doing the best I could with what I knew then." Another powerful practice for healing past wounds is speaking new interpretations of old experiences. Instead of saying, "My childhood ruined my life," you might say, "My childhood taught me resilience and compassion." Instead of, "I was abandoned and unloved," you could say, "I learned to be independent and to love myself." This isn't about denying real pain or pretending bad things didn't happen. It's about reclaiming your power to define what your experiences mean and how they shape you. The language of transformation allows you to honor your past while not being imprisoned by it. You can say, "That experience was painful and it also made me stronger." You can acknowledge hurt while also recognizing growth. You can validate your feelings while also claiming your power to heal and move forward. When working with childhood wounds, it's often helpful to speak to your younger self with the love and understanding that may have been missing at the time. You might say, "I'm so sorry you had to go through that. You didn't deserve to be treated that way. You are lovable and worthy exactly as you are." These words can begin to heal the wounded child within you who has been waiting all these years to be seen and comforted. Sometimes healing requires speaking truth about patterns that have kept you stuck. You might need to say, "I am no longer willing to let fear make my decisions for me," or "I refuse to let my past determine my future," or "I am breaking free from the cycle of hurt that has been passed down through my family." These declarations of independence from old patterns create space for new, healthier ways of being. The practice of rewriting your story is another powerful tool for healing. Instead of focusing on what was done to you, you can begin speaking about what you've overcome, what you've learned, and who you've become. You can say, "I am a survivor who has transformed pain into wisdom," or "I have taken my wounds and turned them into sources of strength and compassion for others." This healing work takes time and patience. Some wounds are deeper than others, and some take longer to heal. Be gentle with yourself as you engage in this process. You don't have to heal everything at once or forgive everyone immediately. Healing happens in layers, and each layer of release creates more space for love and joy in your life. Remember that healing doesn't always mean forgetting or pretending things didn't happen. Sometimes healing means integrating your experiences into a larger story of growth, resilience, and transformation. You're not trying to erase your past. You're changing your relationship to it through the power of conscious healing language. As you speak words of healing and forgiveness, you might notice that your relationships with others begin to improve. When you release old resentments and judgments, you create space for more loving connections. When you heal your relationship with your past, you become more available for joy and love in your present. The ultimate goal of this healing work is to set yourself free to live fully in the present moment, unburdened by the weight of old wounds and ready to embrace all the love, joy, and possibility that life has to offer you. Your past does not have to define your future unless you choose to let it. Through the power of healing words, you can write a new chapter of your story that is filled with love, hope, and endless possibility. Creating a sustainable practice with empowering language is like building any healthy habit. It requires consistency, patience, and self-compassion. The goal isn't perfection, but rather creating a daily rhythm that supports your highest good and keeps you connected to the truth of who you are and what you're capable of creating. Your morning routine sets the tone for your entire day, so this is a beautiful time to consciously choose words that align you with positivity and possibility. Before you even get out of bed, you might take a few deep breaths and say something like, "Thank you for this new day. I am open to all the good that wants to come into my life today." These simple words immediately shift your energy from whatever you might have been dreaming about to a state of gratitude and receptivity. As you're getting ready for your day, you can incorporate affirmations into activities you're already doing. While you're brushing your teeth, you might affirm, "I speak words of kindness and truth today." While you're getting dressed, you could say, "I am comfortable and confident in my own skin." These small additions to your existing routine make positive language a natural part of your day rather than another task you have to remember. Many people find it helpful to have a specific set of morning affirmations that they speak while looking in the bathroom mirror. This combines the power of mirror work with the fresh energy of the morning. You might say, "I love and appreciate you. You are worthy of all good things. Today is going to be a wonderful day." Even if you don't fully believe these words at first, speaking them consistently begins to create new neural pathways that support these beliefs. Throughout your day, you can use challenging moments as opportunities to practice conscious language. When you're stuck in traffic, instead of complaining about the delay, you might say, "This is giving me a few extra minutes to relax and breathe." When a difficult person crosses your path, instead of criticizing them, you could silently say, "I send this person love and choose to protect my own peace." Creating transition phrases can help you shift your energy when you notice negative thoughts arising. You might use phrases like, "I choose a different thought," or "I'm redirecting my energy toward love," or "That was then, this is now." These simple phrases give you a way to consciously interrupt negative thought patterns and choose something more empowering. Your evening routine is equally important because the thoughts and words you go to sleep with influence your subconscious mind all night long. Before bed, you might review your day with gratitude, acknowledging 3 things that went well or 3 things you're grateful for. This practice trains your mind to look for and focus on positive experiences rather than dwelling on problems or disappointments. Evening affirmations might focus on release and restoration. You could say, "I release all tension and stress from this day. I forgive myself and others for any mistakes. I trust that tomorrow brings new opportunities for joy and growth." This type of language helps you let go of the day's challenges and align with peaceful, restorative sleep. Some people find it helpful to keep a small notebook by their bedside where they write down positive words or phrases that inspire them. You might write down new affirmations you want to work with, quotes that uplift you, or simply words of gratitude for the day you've experienced. The act of writing these positive words before sleep helps embed them in your consciousness. Creating personal power phrases for specific situations can be incredibly helpful. For job interviews, you might develop a phrase like, "I am the perfect person for this opportunity." For social situations where you feel nervous, you could use, "I am worthy of love and friendship exactly as I am." For financial decisions, you might say, "I make wise choices that support my prosperity." Having these ready-made phrases available helps you respond to challenges from a place of empowerment rather than fear. The key to making this practice sustainable is starting small and building gradually. Don't try to transform your entire vocabulary overnight. Choose 1 or 2 affirmations that really resonate with you and work with those consistently for a week or 2. Once they start feeling natural, you can add more. It's better to deeply integrate a few powerful phrases than to casually repeat dozens of affirmations without any real feeling or intention behind them. Consistency matters more than duration. Speaking a few heartfelt affirmations for 2 minutes every day is more powerful than spending an hour on affirmations once a week. Your subconscious mind responds to repetition and consistency, so showing up regularly, even for short periods, creates lasting change. Remember to be patient and compassionate with yourself as you develop this practice. Some days you'll remember to speak consciously, and some days you'll fall back into old patterns. This is perfectly normal and part of the learning process. What matters is that you keep coming back to the practice. Keep choosing love over fear, and keep using your words to create the life you truly desire. You might also find it helpful to connect with others who are interested in conscious language and positive thinking. Having support and encouragement from like-minded people can help you stay motivated and inspired. You could share affirmations with friends, join online communities focused on personal growth, or simply be more mindful of surrounding yourself with people who speak positively about life and possibility. The most important thing to remember is that this practice is an act of self-love. You're choosing to speak to yourself and about your life in ways that support your highest good because you believe you deserve happiness, health, love, and success. This belief will grow stronger every time you choose empowering words over limiting ones, every time you choose love over fear, and every time you choose to see possibility instead of limitation. As we come to the close of our time together, I want you to know that everything we've explored today isn't just theory or wishful thinking. This is practical, applicable wisdom that has the power to transform your life in very real ways. You now have tools that you can use immediately to begin shifting your experience from limitation to expansion, from fear to love, from struggle to flow. The journey of conscious language is really a journey home to yourself, to the truth of who you are beneath all the limiting beliefs and negative programming you've accumulated over the years. You are so much more powerful than you've been led to believe. You are so much more capable of creating positive change than you may have imagined. And it all begins with the words you choose to speak. Remember that every word you speak is either moving you toward what you want or away from it. Every thought you think is either supporting your highest good or working against it. This isn't about pressure or perfection. It's about awareness and choice. Now that you know this truth, you can never really go back to unconscious speaking. Even when you catch yourself using old, limiting language, that awareness itself is a victory because it gives you the opportunity to choose again. The words you speak today are creating tomorrow's experiences. The thoughts you think consistently become the beliefs that shape your reality. The stories you tell about yourself and your life become the script that your subconscious mind follows. You have the power to write a new script, to tell a new story, to speak new words that align with the life you truly want to live. I want you to be patient and gentle with yourself as you practice these new ways of speaking. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen consistently when you show up with love and commitment. Some days the affirmations will feel powerful and true, and other days they might feel awkward or forced. Keep speaking them anyway. You're not trying to convince yourself of something false. You're remembering something true that you may have forgotten. You are worthy of love exactly as you are right now. You are deserving of success, happiness, and all good things, not because of what you do or achieve, but simply because you exist. You have gifts to share with the world that only you can share. You have a unique purpose and a special contribution to make. The world needs what you have to offer, but first, you need to believe it yourself. Your voice matters. Your words have power. Your life has meaning and purpose. You are not a victim of circumstances or other people's choices. You are a creator, a powerful being with the ability to shape your experience through the conscious use of your thoughts and words. This is your birthright, your natural ability, your divine gift. As you go forward from this moment, I want you to remember that you're not alone on this journey. Every time you choose love over fear, every time you speak words of possibility instead of limitation, every time you treat yourself with kindness instead of criticism, you're joining a global community of people who are waking up to their true power and potential. The universe is always listening to your words, always responding to your vibration, always ready to support your highest good. Trust this process. Trust yourself. Trust that as you align your words with love and possibility, your life will begin to reflect that alignment in beautiful and sometimes miraculous ways. Start today. Start right now. Look in the mirror and speak words of love to yourself. Throughout your day, catch yourself when old limiting language arises and gently choose different words. Before you go to sleep tonight, speak words of gratitude for this day and words of anticipation for the good that's coming into your life. Remember, you have the power to speak your dreams into existence. You have the ability to heal old wounds with forgiveness and love. You have the capacity to create a life that reflects your highest vision for yourself. It all begins with the words you choose to speak. Say these words and watch it all come true. Your words are waiting to create miracles in your life. Are you ready to let them?